Honestly, I've been kind of dreading doing this part because this will be my first time doing it, and it's going to involve a lot of cutting. This feels tastefully clapped, but it's okay. Hey, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to be working on my 1997 Honda Civic hatchback. And if you guys haven't seen the previous video on this car, I'd really recommend checking it out, and I'll make sure to leave a link above. Now I'm just outside the shop because I wanted to get some fresh air before we go inside and start tearing this thing apart. Now, the whole reason why I'm gonna be doing a Type-S oil pump is because this is a very popular upgrade on the K series because it's able for you to unlock higher revs. So we got a lot to cover here, so let's get into the shop. All right, so I'm back in the shop and I just wanted to show you guys what the engine currently looks like. For this, you typically want to rotate this so that it's completely upside down. The only problem is I'm running into a clearance issue on this side. As you can see, I had to use these specialty bolts to be able to clear the clutch and flywheel, but in this case, it's very unfortunate that I'm not able to turn this all the way over. So I'm gonna see if I could do this while having the engine sideways as it is right now. I am catching a little bit of oil that's coming out on the bottom. This is just a little bit of residual that's left there. So let's show you guys all the parts that we're gonna be using for this. All right, so here's the parts list for everything you'll need if you want to do the Type-S oil pump conversion on your K series. So the first thing that you're going to see here is actually going to be the windage tray. So I think this is helping with just the passages of oil. Again, it's going to be very different from what the original oil pump came on these. So we'll need to swap this out. And then here is the oil pump that we're going to be upgrading over here. Again, we'll need to grind down this bottom portion. And I think today what we'll focus on is just making sure that we get the right guidelines so that when we grind this down, we don't take off too much or too little so that everything goes on correctly. And then you're also going to need to replace the chain for the oil pump itself because I think the length of it is going to be a little bit different. To go with this too, we'll also be changing out the tensioner, which is actually very easy to install. It's just 3 10mm bolts, and then there's like this release key that you can pull out, and once you pull this out, it'll be locked in and you'll have tension on the oil pump itself. And if you use the original K24 oil guide, it won't work. So you're gonna have to swap this out. I think this is the one from the RSX Type-S. And since the bolt lengths are gonna be different on the upgraded oil pump as well, you're gonna need these 3 bolts that we have down here. And I'll put the parts numbers so that you guys have those as a reference because I think that'll be pretty beneficial for you guys. But nowadays you can find these full kits. People piece them together, but it can be better if you wanna do this on your own and save the cost of somebody having to just put this all together. If you put all these into your cart, you should be good to go. So for the oil pump itself, I actually got this from Hybrid Racing, and I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to get a discount on that. But everything else I had to kind of source on my own. That was also a good learning experience for me, but now we can move over to the engine itself. Now, as we move over here, what I need to do is I just need to fully take off the oil pan and the timing cover. I've taken all of these off. It's very easy to do. I was just flying through this with my 3/8 impact. Just a bunch of 10mm bolts on the cover. One thing to note is that there's gonna be a little bit of a shoulder on the ones here for these bolts, so they're different. So when you bag this all up, that's something to consider. And then the oil pan is very easy to take off, and this one actually has a dent in the bottom of it. So this will be a good opportunity to upgrade this anyway, since we'll be doing that. So now it's just a matter of you know, putting in the work, taking off what's there, taking off the chain, and then we can evaluate how much we need to grind on the actual Type-S oil pump to make this fit. Oh, Josh, what's up, man? I thought it was just Austin watching. Oh man, you doing renovations? All right guys, so I got the oil pan and the timing cover off, and I just wanted to show you guys real quick what it's gonna look like. This is with everything removed. So typically here, you're gonna have your timing chain guides. Again, just a bunch of 10mm, and then you're gonna have your timing chain tensioner. Now, the one thing is with this, you wanna make sure that you take the load off of it before removing it. And there's like a little thumbtack that you can put in here. Sorry, there's no visual representation. I'd have to go sift through the gazillion boxes of stuff right now. So if you guys want more details on that, maybe I can make another video like that in the future. But as you can see, there is no tension on the pump. And now you can get a better idea of what I was talking about. So this oil pump, as you can see, has just a lot more mass, rotational mass, and this will probably make it maybe a little bit more smoother. Maybe that's why they went with this design. Again, you see the windage tray is a little bit different, but we're gonna take this off. Looks like you just use like a 14 and a 12 on these 4 corners right here, and this should loosen everything up. I don't think it's torqued down like super duper tight. And then we can look in further detail, clean this down a little bit, and get started on taking off all these little bits so that we can install all the new stuff. I'm gonna crack these off by hand. I probably should just be able to hit it with the impact, but I think this will give me a little bit of peace of mind. Yeah, wow, you can even hear some of the hissing of the pump as it comes off. Oh, here. It just smells lovely. Now we can hit this with the gun. Get a pry bar. All right, so we got the original oil pump removed. I still have yet to take off the windage tray, but that should be really easy. It's just a bunch of 10mm bolts. But I'll show you the difference right here. And as you can see, it's just a very large unit. I'm sure that this helps with just like internal engine vibrations, but there's like these flaps that come in and out. I'm sure this has to do with just like getting the proper amount of circulation. But I mean, this thing is pretty heavy, you know? This is gonna reduce a lot of the weight of just the bottom end overall. Because I mean, when we go over here and look at this one, you can see that practically weighs nothing. So this is gonna make a tremendous difference, but I think for the next video, what I'm gonna have to focus on is how to get this to mate correctly. So I don't know if you could see that like notch right there, but that's actually gonna get in the way of us being able to install this completely, which is very unfortunate. There's one thing I wanted to call out that's super duper important that you need to do, and you actually need to get rid of this right here. You're gonna wanna plug this up, a 12mm bolt with some Honda Bond, or even I think Permatex would be fine in terms of just like a silicone sealant to make sure that this is completely plugged off. I actually tried using a pick to try and take this off. It's just not being very compliant. So I'm actually gonna take the next step here, and I'm gonna use this little screw to kind of screw into this and then see if I could pull this out very, very carefully. All right, so it's been a couple days now, and honestly, I've been kind of dreading doing this part because this will be my first time doing it, and it's gonna involve a lot of cutting. So for people that don't know, when you're doing the Type-S oil pump, you actually need to cut and grind this down. So this is something that has been on the to-do list, but today's gonna be the day that we do it. And I'm just really hoping that I don't completely mess it up, because it's a pretty expensive part, and I'm gonna take my time and show you guys at least what I'm gonna be using for this. I have the tools right here, so I'll turn the camera around and at least give you guys an idea of what I'm gonna be working with. So as you can see over here, I have a die grinder. I'm using some 1/4" carbide bits. I think one of the things that you have to consider, especially when you're gonna be cutting into something that's made of aluminum, that you wanna make sure that it's gonna be stuff that is going to be compliant with the material. And the thing with aluminum especially is that it is actually a much more brittle material. And yes, it is stronger and lighter, but it's easier and more prone to cracking. So in this case, I got these carbide attachments, and I think this is gonna be good for cleaning stuff up. So as you can see, it's a pretty aggressive bit here, but I'm hoping that, you know, with the right speed, especially with the compressed air, that should work okay. And I'm also gonna try using this reciprocating air saw. So I've used this a lot with plastics. I mean, it trims through bumpers like butter. For example, we have the Honda Fit Rallycross car, and we use that for cutting the front bumper. And it's a really fun tool to use, but I think this will actually work pretty well for precision cutting on the aluminum that we're doing. So as you guys saw, I just took the measurements to do this correctly. So I have this all set up, and I have the markings here of where I'm gonna start. Now, you may notice on the workbench that I'm working at that there's actually no vise. So with the help of Austin and Otis over here at Ant's Community Garage, we came up with this kind of makeshift workbench vise that will work pretty well for what we're doing. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna just bite it right here at the top of the pump to make sure that I don't actually hurt anything on the top of it. And of course you wanna tape up all these little orifices where oil would be circulating, because the last thing you need is shrapnel going through this. So I'm gonna put this on the vise, and I'm really just gonna take my time with it, and I'll bring you guys along with me to do this, and hopefully this helps anybody that's looking to do the Type-S oil pump. This is probably the most intimidating part of this whole build for me so far. And you know, I don't consider myself to be a genius or even like a master fabricator or anything like that, but I am very motivated on at least making this work. So I can't give up now. And of course you can go and you can buy a ported Type-S oil pump. I think even 4-Piston Racing, they offer a kit that has a pre-milled one, and I think even Hybrid Racing has one in development right now. But I think for me, I just need to get over this, do it, get out of my system, and I will be able to sleep better at night knowing that I at least tried. Because I mean, that's the biggest thing in life, right? It's just being able to know that you at least gave it your best shot. So I'm gonna get this all set up. I'm hoping that everything goes well. Pray for me, man. And well, we'll take it from there. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now is actually take a measurement of how much I need to cut. So I'm gonna just mock it up on the side of the engine like so, and we'll see how much I have to take off. I've already watched a bunch of videos on how to do this, but I think, and I can see already that I'm gonna have to notch this bottom portion of this thread and make sure not to miss it. And then I also need to mark right at the end over here. I believe it'll maybe go like so, and we'll give that a shot. And then over here, I think, just based on what I'm seeing at least, that I'm gonna go about, shoot, I don't know, maybe like right here. So we have all of this that we're gonna be taking off here, and then I'm gonna go up like so, and then we're gonna take off a good chunk maybe right there, and we'll make our way down here, remove all of this, and just go like so. So I think that'll be a good starting place for at least us to understand where we need to be. So this should be a good at least cutout for now. This angle's a little weird. Let's try this. I'm gonna reposition this so I can get a better angle on it. This feels tastefully clapped, but it's okay. Let's try that. Not bad. So I'm just gonna continue to cut slits like this. So I'm just gonna go boom, 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 until I can snap these off, and then I'm gonna hit it with the die grinder, and I'll really grind this down, make it look nice. But it's working pretty good. I didn't do that, sorry. Okay. So I'm definitely not done yet, but I at least wanted to give you a little bit of some progress here of what it's gonna look like once we're done. I might even tape off this, even though this is just for putting the bolt through. I'm gonna slide this back also so that it's on the edge so I can get a little bit more leverage. All right, so when you're done, it should look something like this. There's just gonna be a bunch of slits in it. Now what I'm gonna do is just take a set of pliers and just snip these off, and then I can clean it up with the die grinder and go along this edge here. But it actually wasn't too bad. I think a lot of it really is just gonna be coming down to grinding this part that may be a little tricky, but I think we'll get it. Try one of these small ones. Oh, beautiful. Oh yeah, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. It actually snips off pretty clean. You just wanna be really careful not to take off too much. That's why you hold it really steady, and we'll clean it up. Okay, it wasn't that bad. I've been just dreading this for days now. I feel like I'm gonna get a good night's rest after this. Okay, we'll get this little guy right here. Easy peasy. I feel like if I would do this again, I think I have some ideas on how I can make this a little more efficient, but I think it's better to be careful than to take off too much. I might even go back in here with the air saw blade real quick and just get this little edge, since I have some play with it to mess with it, but here's what it looks like now. All right, after a bunch of trial and error, I finally got the Type-S oil pump lined up. So you can see how much material I had to take off. A lot of it was grinding this passageway for one of the threads, and luckily I didn't go through. On the backside, you have to go through quite a bit of it. As you can see, I was able to get it just perfect. I grinded off these sides because when you come to the engine, there's actually this little bit of a lip. Maybe kind of hard to see, but I don't know if you're gonna see it right there, right here. You have to focus on that, grind all this off, and then right here too is gonna be a place where the bolt is gonna come in contact, and then down here as well is also another lip. So I just test fitted it, and I'm gonna do it right here in real time for you guys. So bear with me, I have to kind of hold this and hold the camera, but it will give you an idea of what it's gonna look like. And you'll know that it's seated because of the way that it bolts right up. So you can see right there, perfect. Super happy with the way it came out. Honestly, if I was gonna do it again, I could probably do it a lot quicker, but I'm really glad that I took my time with this. And you know, this is a really huge monumental step in getting the build, you know, further. Of course, we still have the cams, but this was something that I've just been wanting to do for so long, and I'm super happy that it came out nicely. So I'm gonna put all the bolts on. This includes, you know, the chain and the guide and the tensioner. So I'll have to spend some time here taking off the timing cover, and then we can get this all situated. And my voice might sound a little crazy because I am not feeling well at all. I definitely wanted to get it out of the house and tough it out for now. But I think I'm gonna go get my chest x-ray, and I'm not sure if I have pneumonia or something like that. But I've been coughing up stuff for the past like week and a half, which is unfortunate, but I got my energy enough to where I can go through the day-to-day stuff, but it'll feel really good to put this oil pump back on. And I think you have to put the chain on first, and then you'd be able to sneak on the pump. So I'm gonna try it this way and see what happens. And hopefully it goes on pretty easily. The last one was actually quite easy. I could be wrong. I'm gonna put one of the bolts in just to see how it lines up. This is too short. Go right here, correct. Let me see if the other bolt's longer just to confirm. Beautiful. I'm not gonna tighten it down all the way just yet, but this will be really beneficial just to make sure it doesn't fall or anything like that. So, yeah, I might have to wiggle it a little bit to get it on. Yeah, maybe I have to take these off actually. I remember being in high school and just dreaming about doing something like this. So this is in a weird way, kind of a dream come true. K-swap Honda was always something that was at the top of my list, especially like seeing those old school videos. I think the one video that always resonates with me is it was like a Firebird or something like that, and the guy is making fun of him. He's like, oh, what is that? What's it got? And he's just like, just a little 4-cylinder. And then before you know it, he's just absolutely just leaving him in the dust. I mean, you could probably look that up in the old YouTube archives. It's a really, really fun watch. Now, getting this to fit, oh, beautiful, I got it. So it takes a little bit of finessing. You just have to make sure that you put the chain on before everything else. But we should be in business now. And the one on the back side is gonna be the 10 millimeter. And this one with the 12, you can't really get them mixed up, which is good, or else that would be very detrimental to this whole thing. I'm gonna slowly get these on. And Thanksgiving's coming up, so hopefully you guys have a good holidays. I know not everybody celebrates that, but around here a lot of people do, so. And the torque specs on these, you can actually find them on the Hybrid Racing page, and maybe I can link that down below. I believe it's not a lot, it's like 16 foot-pounds. So before I do a torque sequence on these guys, I'm just gonna get them to the point right before getting them snug, and I'll go through with a torque wrench and torque everything else down. I still can't believe it. That is so awesome. We'll have to take these off. This is where the guide is gonna go, and then I think we'll put on the tensioner last, but we should be good. Let's see what size these are. And we'll get this guy right here. So if you're wondering why you need to replace this, it's because this will actually not work if you use the original K24 one. It's a little bit longer and it would bind against here. So you need to make sure that you use the Type-S one. And it's just gonna go like this. You're gonna use a 5mm hex on these, and it lines it up really perfectly because of the way these like bolts are designed where it kind of seats it. So no need to apply any extra pressure or anything like that. Get it so that they're just hand tight. And I'm sure, honestly, you could probably go snug, but I think in this instance, just want to make sure we do it right. Beautiful. I'm just gonna go to snug. And now we can put on the tensioner. Go right here, and we'll get the tensioner on here, just like so. I'm gonna use these Honda OEM hardware that I got for this. I don't think you necessarily have to use it, but for me, I'm just gonna use it. We might as well do it right so that we don't have to do this again. Put these two in. Beautiful. Could go by hand. I'm just being overly careful here, even though I think I got it. It should be okay. Instead of using an impact and then cross-threading something, much better to do it by hand. Man, I'm so excited. This is so awesome. Boom. And you really want to make sure to take this tensioner out. So here's the final product. Man, what a difference. I'm really curious what the outcome will be in terms of like my red line, in terms of the tuning aspects. But I did want to show you guys one sneak peek that we'll have to do in the next video. So what we have here is the oil pan that I'm going to be running. This is the Moroso baffled oil pan. What's nice about this one is that it will be really good for autocross with the high-speed cornering. It has these little trap doors in here, and then also has the ports for an oil cooler if we want to run that. So I'm also very excited to put this on. But again, I want to kind of go through everything. I still have to put on the timing chain, but before that we need to do the camshafts, but I think I'll still mock up the oil pan so that we could take a peek. So I'll save that for the next one, but I really appreciate you guys checking out today's video. Hopefully this helps somebody out that's going to be doing a K-series build. Type-S oil pump I think is definitely worth it. You just have to take your time and be careful, and you can get an outcome just like this. I don't consider myself to be some genius or anything like that, but really just a car guy doing car guy stuff. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.